My road to midwifery is a kind of long one. I had my first baby when I was 18, so that kind of led me on the path of really learning a lot. Had a pretty typical hospital birth, I would say. I didn't want an epidural going into the hospital setting, but also had a nurse who every 15 minutes would walk into my room and say, "Do you want an epidural? How about an epidural?" And so I wasn't traumatized by the experience, but I was left with a I feel like that can look different or be different. And then had my next baby, and then ended up having a very fast labor and birth with him. And it took me a few years to convince myself to go to nursing school. And it was while I was in nursing school, I kind of learned a little bit more about nurse midwives, heard about nurse midwives, read about birth centers, and that's where I was really hooked, is when I saw that. I was like, oh, that's the other path that I was looking for. And then I ended up working in a teaching hospital. And in a teaching hospital, I saw how residents were being trained. And previously I'd been in a hospital that was more of a private hospital where we didn't have doctors there all the time, whereas nurses, we were kind of, managing the labors, and then we'd call the doctors when somebody is ready to have a baby. So I saw a lot of physiologic birth. I saw what that looks like. And then when I went into this teaching setting, I saw just a lot of interventions that weren't really necessary. And that really led me to go oh, I need to be a midwife now. And the other thing I saw was just people coming into the hospital just not well prepared for their births. And I really wondered what's happening during prenatal care? Why do people not have kind of this basic information coming into their labor experience? And just feeling I just feel like this can look different. We can do this better. We can do more education on the front side so that people feel more prepared for their labor time. Then I went to midwifery school, and I had the opportunity to do my clinical rotation in a birth center setting. Just kind of recognized I need a little bit of a break before I could start a birth center. So I did go into a hospital-based practice and was there for a few years, which was really great. It was a really good place to learn. I just, was able to learn and grow so much. But then also I found it could be difficult to be a midwife in a medical environment, because you're working within the medical model of care and you're trying to squish as much midwifery into it as you can to do those things that I'm really passionate about, which is really spending time with our families, educating our families, just walking clients through their process, whatever that is, and the information that they need. I was a few years into hospital-based practice at that point, still had that idea that carried with me from my early days of, I know this can look different, there's more to offer. And there had been a birth center in Indianapolis previously, but it had shut down quite a while earlier, so it was something that had really been gone from the community for a while. So it just really felt like it was important to bring the birth center option back to Indianapolis and make sure that it is an option for families here.